Hey, everybody. What if the path to rediscovering your purpose wasn't about finding something new, but about uncovering the truth that's been with you all along? Welcome to Fear to Freedom, one story at a time. I'm Cory Thorell, and this is where change is not just possible, it's already happening, and your story unlocking the next chapter of your journey. I'm super excited today because this is episode number 11 of my podcast. So it means I've crossed the number 10 mile mark and posted number 10 last week, and super excited about the growth of Fear to Freedom. Thank you out there for giving me the thumbs up and the subscriptions and the support out there in the world. Thank you for your belief in me and participating in the journey of these amazing stories. Today, I am thrilled and honored and delighted to have my new friend, Lorraine Robinson, in the house with me. Lorraine and I, we met a couple of months ago at a business workshop, and looking at our businesses, growing our businesses, and we connected. We started emailing back and forth, messaging back and forth, and set up a time to do this call. Lorraine Robinson, the Painless Piano Coach, is with me here on Fear to Freedom today. Lorraine, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
Thank you so much. So excited and privileged to be here. So as the Painless Piano Coach, I show you how to sight read with faster and better methods. I show you how to play by ear naturally as if it's a language. And I show you how to work with your body to avoid to avoid painful repetitive motion injuries like the ones that almost stole my ability to play piano, so that you don't have to experience that.
Wow. So I just heard a lot in what you just said. One, you tell us what you're doing. You're teaching piano. You're teaching people how to be musical, to have an incredible musical skill in this world. But inside that, I also heard your passion for what you do and that you almost lost your passion.
Thank you. Yes, I did. When I was in high school, I had decided that teaching piano was my career path. I really loved it. I had kind of fallen into that, as that was my after-school job in high school. And after a couple of years, I decided I really loved it. I also loved performing in competitions, and so I was practicing many hours a day. And when I was about a junior in high school, about 16, I developed painful cramps, carpal tunnel tendonitis, where my hands would lock up. I could not play for more than a few minutes at a time before my hands would lock up and be like completely useless, uncoordinated for hours afterwards. Couldn't write, couldn't type, and it was very scary. Man, and I actually never even considered mentioning it to my piano teacher. She was shocked to find out what I had been dealing with when we met for coffee recently. She had not had any idea, because I was so, I followed all of the up and coming concert pianists and young piano stars, and it seemed like they all dealt with similar things. So I just assumed this is what anybody who's serious about playing piano has to deal with. I just have to figure out how to get through it. And so it literally never occurred to me to say anything. And I muddled through until in college, I moved to a new town, found a new teacher, wasn't even looking for a teacher to solve this problem. But after I started lessons with her, she realized what was going on. And part of her core program was teaching pianists how to work with their body to play in the best way possible for physical health. And so within about 6 months of working with her, I was able to play even better and with more coordination than I had even before, when I had been at my top level with the previous teacher. And so
I want to jump in right there. I want to go back.
Sure.
I want to go back just a minute. Let's go backwards. I come from, a lifelong career in big show business, on tour with a big ballet company, doing opera, movies, showbiz, plays. I was the Foley artist for a lot of radio shows. Art and beauty, music is a major part of all of those things. And that passion for art and beauty, music, plays, show business was a major thing for me. For 35 years, I was doing that in my life, and um, the passion for art and beauty, the passion for music in particular, because it is a language and it's emotional. And it's also,
Absolutely.
and music is also spiritual mathematics.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
So before we talk about, the struggle of the pain in your hands, let's come back to the original passion. And I know this passion is alive in you every single day because this is your career. This is what you do every day. Tell me a little bit more about your love of piano, your love of music, like, and how it, and I know from a previous conversation with you last week that I know that music saved your life as a kid.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about passion and love and the beauty of chasing something you love for a minute.
Well, that would start with the very first moment that I fell in love with the piano. And this is probably my favorite story, and I'm gonna cry, and I'm totally okay
I'll
with
cry
that.
too. I can't let you cry alone.
Good, good. I need some company. So when I was 6 years old, the pianist for the San Francisco, I have to remember to say this correctly, the San Francisco Symphony, I believe, was Robin Sutherland, and he was a friend of my aunt and uncle. They invited him to come for Christmas that year that I was 6. And of course, after Christmas dinner, he was asked to play carols on their piano. And I just remember sitting on their living room floor, just being completely mesmerized. And he noticed and asked if I would like to sit on the bench with him while he played. And I remember sitting there watching his hands fly and promising myself that someday I was going to play like that. And so I begged my parents for a year. I harassed them every day for a year
Mhm,
until my dad finally got sick of it and threw up his hands and told my mom to find a dang piano teacher already. So
mhm,
it was pretty much exactly 1 year later, the January, 12 months following, my mom set me up with piano lessons with a piano teacher down the street, and I have never looked back. And I
awesome.
am just always grateful to Robin for lighting that spark for me.
Mhm. So the phrase is coming to mind right now, Lorraine, that music is medicine.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. So music was what I turned to throughout my childhood. I kind of had a very strict childhood that was rough in some ways. So when I felt unseen or unheard, that was where I went, was to play the piano. Um,
Mhm,
and just being able to let out all the feelings that I couldn't put into words and that I had no one to tell them to. They all
mhm.
came out in the piano.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now that's that healing salve. That's the saving grace. That's the healing elixir of the arts, of art and beauty, of creativity for all of us. And I really believe
Absolutely.
every one of us is creative in one way or another. Like I often say, like one of my favorite altars to pray at is the kitchen altar because I love to cook, or maybe it's the garden altar because I love flowers, and
Absolutely. There are so many things that can be that soothing to your soul.
yeah, and creativity, where we're actually
Mhm.
making something that wasn't here before, or we're letting that creative energy force move through us. because even you,
Yeah.
like, for example, I know that when I've taken music lessons, I might learn a melody or a song that exists already, but no one will ever do it the way I do it.
Right.
It might be the same
Yeah,
notes in the same order, but it has my has my breath in it. It has my passion in it. It has my pain in it.
exactly. So much. And that can change from time to time that you play it too. So
For
it's
sure.
new and different every time.
Right. So thanks for just talking a little bit about the passion and the medicine and the life force of what music is for you. Because now,
Thank you. Well, it gives me
yeah,
chills, and this is such a wonderful outlet, and I I really can't put into words how much I appreciate it.
right. So now I want to come back to where we were a minute ago. The threat of losing that when your hands started to hurt.
Right. Terrifying, actually, because um I had finally decided, I felt like I finally landed on the thing that was fulfilling and that I really wanted to do for my life's work.
Hmm.
And I felt like it was a tangible threat that I might not actually be able to do that, either to work with students and share the joy of piano, or even just for my own joy and fulfillment.
Let's unpack that first. Because
Okay.
like giving the gift away with students and also just audience listening to the music, because that's part of it, being
Hmm.
witnessed. But that very person, because like here on Fear to Freedom, like the reason I want to harvest these stories is because every one of us experiences fear. Every single one of us
Absolutely.
understands the crippling nature that fear stops you in your tracks. Especially with something as personal and as deep as the medicine of your own music, realizing that it has been your life driving force for years to the point where you're foreseeing a career and a passion and no other option for you. And then all of
Right.
a sudden your hands hurt too much to do that. I'm going to ask you to call in a little bit of that fear. I'm going to ask you to call in a little bit of that memory of what that felt like. What did that look like? And remember that, like there's somebody out there in our audience right now that's going to find themselves in our story today.
Absolutely. That's why it is so important to me to share my story, because I know now I was not the only one, and there
Yeah.
will be more after. So when I started to think that maybe playing piano was not an option for me anymore, it just felt like this sick weight in the pit of my stomach, kind of a sick tingle almost of thinking, that was very much my identity
Hmm.
at that time, that I didn't know how to see myself apart from being a pianist. And so part of that was the fear of losing a large part of my identity.
Absolutely. I mean, think about that. Let's just pause everybody for a second. Like a major part of your identity, who you are, and not only your identity, but a piece of yourself that you adore, a piece of you that has gotten you from your past into the present moment, a piece of you that has been there for you to heal the hard times, that's been there to create clarity in the midst of the fog, and especially as a young person, without a lot of experience or good role models out there in the world. We don't really have a lot of good emotional or spiritual role models in our world. I think that's probably on purpose because we kind of find it on our own. It's somewhere along the way, but
Yeah,
man, all of a sudden there's something that you love that you don't get to do anymore.
yeah,
I have a similar story, like I was chasing show business and I knew I was in the wrong place energetically. It was time for me to move on from that job. But my spirit And my spirit was knocking on the door, like, Cory, you've done this. This dream came true. But there's my brain and my ego were like, no, but I got the perfect job. I'm touring the world. I'm doing all the things. And I had this inner discord going on. I wasn't listening to my spirit, and I got sick, like death's door sick. Next thing you know, I left the doctor
Yeah.
oxygen tank behind me, and I'm like, how did I get here?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I'm being asked to leave this my ideal job in show business, touring the world, doing all of these things that I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing, and no clue what I could possibly do next. I had done no dreaming about the future beyond that moment. And I stood there at the edge going, I could jump naked into the realm of the unknown, but I didn't have the skills or the capacity or the confidence at that time to do that. So
Right.
I stayed in that job 10 years too long, you know,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
a lot of, you know, and from here looking back, I'm so grateful because of that level of hurt, that level of suffering, that level of fear, my own healing, my own black bags have created the man I am today. And for that, I'm most grateful. But I tell you, in the middle of that, thinking I'm losing something I worked hard for, I'm going to lose something I'm passionate about, was devastating, to the point where I was willing to stay suffering. I was willing to
Right.
hurt more to not lose it, even though it was the wrong thing. I know that now, you know. But that's part of this journey. Like
Absolutely.
we all have fear in common, and pain, physical pain shows up. Sometimes it stems from emotional pain, but our body's saying, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Pain is an opportunity to grow. Pain is an opportunity to slow down and reconsider and see a bigger picture. But sometimes when pain and fear are happening at the same time, whoa, the overwhelm of two things, both significant, both big, and both happening at the same time. It's hard to separate them.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pain, man. Let's talk a little bit about pain.
Okay. What about pain?
Well, very much like fear stops us in our tracks, pain also stops us in our tracks. And I know that
Yes, it
with,
does.
you dealt with a lot of physical pain.
Yeah. I think for me, pain has been something that I didn't know how to listen to. My MO was always to push through, whether it was the physical pain of having incorrect technique at the piano or emotional pain of relationships, just keep going full throttle.
Uh-huh.
um, or any other kind of pain that I've experienced over my life. It hasn't been until the last few years in the other areas. Fortunately, I did learn to slow down and ask myself what the excuse me, what the physical pain meant, thanks to that piano teacher in college who taught me what physical pain meant and how to remedy it.
Yep.
But it's only been the last few years in the other areas that I have really learned to slow down and ask myself what pain is trying to tell me and
Hmm.
what solution can, can I create? What solution do I need
Yeah.
to respond to it?
Yep. You know, some of my colleagues have been teasing me these last couple of weeks because I say some things that people always perk up about. And one of the things that I said in a workshop a few weeks ago was, when we're dealing with our shadow, our fear, our pain, our difficulties, when we're doing our shadow work, without the right understanding, we run away. We want to make it disappear. We want to erase it. We just want to make it just make it go away, make it stop, you know. But I really think that the answer to that is invite your shadow work in, your pain, your suffering, your fear, your limitation, whatever it is. Set a place at the table for those things and serve it your good wine and your good cheese and ask it why it has come. Like we learn to listen. Like these difficult parts of us come knocking at the door. And this is once again where we
Yeah.
have a lot of good examples about how to do this. And
I
neither do
love that analogy of inviting your pain to come and sit down and serving, having a servant attitude towards it to ask what it needs from us. I
it's
really love that.
I think it's bringing a gift. And the more we don't listen, the more it hurts.
Absolutely.
And that's physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain,
Hmm.
mental pain, struggle, whatever kind of struggle that is. When struggle comes knocking at the door, so often we just want to make it stop and just make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. But really, it's already in your story. It's already part of your experience, my experience, your experience, the human experience. You can't just erase it. So I love that idea.
Right.
You know what? Not only the good wine and the good cheese, I'm going to get out the tablecloth and the china and light a candle and ask you, why have you come? So that I can learn and understand and finally let it go, as opposed to carry it forward again, go through the loop again. Because
Right.
we go through the loop, it comes back harder the next time.
Definitely. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So let's talk a little bit about, like, you've mentioned your teacher who taught you how to listen to pain. How do you do that? How do you listen to your pain? How did you learn? And I know that this is what you teach as well. So like if this was the movie trailer to say, all right, somebody out there in radio podcast land sitting there in your pain, here's what you can do right now.
Yeah. So often, students will come to me with wrist pain similar to what I experienced. Often they'll come to me with back pain. They shift around a lot at the piano and they just cannot find a comfortable way to sit. Maybe neck pain, maybe um, hip pain from sitting not quite right on the bench. So there's kind of a range of different pain experiences that people have when they come to me. And the first thing that we address is your bench at the correct height for you and the instrument you're sitting at? Because pianos vary in height. Every person varies in height. Some people have long torsos and short legs, and some people have long legs and short torsos.
Right. Right.
And there's a whole variety of how we're put together. Plus the instrument that we're sitting at, if it changes depending on what I have in my studio and what you have at home. There's a wide variety. So learning how to make sure that your bench is at the correct height for you and whatever instrument you're sitting at is the foundation, literally.
Yeah.
And then making sure that you're properly supported there. Maybe the correct height of the bench doesn't allow your feet to rest in a steady, stable way on the floor. And
Mm-hmm.
so even if you're an adult, you might need a short footrest. I have many adults who I've introduced to the idea of just a short footrest, an inch or two, so that they have a second sturdy foundation under their feet. Because if you're resting on your tiptoes or have your feet stretched way out to the sides so that you can balance, you're taking energy away from the musicality that you can put into the piano.
Yes.
So those
Because
are getting your
yeah.
foundation strong
Mhm.
is
And I love
the,
this very much because when I work with my clients around with pain in particular, you said something that I use all the time. Are you properly supported? Right.
oh, perfect.
I was like, yeah. Okay, so properly support, like physical pain, okay, structural, when I think about that, that's bones, your skeletal system, it's muscles, your muscular system, then of course all your circulatory and respiratory systems, all in a structured support so that they function well. Often pain
Yes.
because maybe our blood flow isn't getting to the muscle it needs, so it gets tighter and then it hurts because it's starving to death.
Exactly.
And so how do we, maybe it's just a quick shift to make that fist go, then the blood comes, the oxygen comes, and pain relief comes. And I love that the same metaphor works when we're in mental pain. Like I'm in a limiting belief. I'm not worthy. I'm not capable. I don't get to. I'm not good enough. Like the stories that we tell ourselves about why we're having a hard time. So then that's when we claim our suffering to the spirit world and say, I'm not good enough because therefore I have to fix myself because I'm broken. And then this self-talk creates a bunch
Absolutely.
of mental pain. And
Yes,
I
absolutely.
believe that we're not broken.
No, I
Right?
agree
We're
with you.
not broken. If you believe you're broken, you're going to find broken.
Exactly.
You're looking for something to fix, you're going to find broken.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're not broken? What if it's as easy as, I love that, you're properly supported? This is why I love this podcast so much about fear to freedom, because I think the switchcraft moment here is that most of us understand that fear stops us in our tracks. But what if fear is actually your number one shining armored knight in service to your greater good?
It absolutely can be if you change the perspective that you look at it from. And so mindset is not one of the things that I mention in my little opening bio, but it is absolutely a significant part of the program that I work my clients through. And one of the things that we work through in the mindset module, I have a musician's mindset and performance module that we work through, and it's changing fear to excitement, learning how to make that switch. Fear and excitement are two very closely related emotions. And if you can figure out how to take the fear of performing in a recital, for example, is a very common one that we discuss a lot. The fear of getting up on stage in front of everyone, and oh my gosh, what if I make a mistake and everyone thinks I'm an idiot? Or can you change that to, oh my gosh, I am so excited that I get to be here and I get to share my gift with everyone and I get to give a gift to everyone. And I am so excited and privileged to be
Yeah,
here. It
absolutely.
changes how you walk out on stage.
Yeah. Okay, so here's some showbiz. And I think I might even mentioned this on a podcast episode a couple of weeks ago, but I'm going to tell it again. The phrase "break a leg,"
Oh yeah.
right? What does it mean?
Well, it's good luck. Go out and do your best.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you know why the words "break a leg"? Do you know what that actually means?
Um, the history that I have heard about it was that it was bad luck to wish performers good luck. So you would wish them bad luck by saying break a leg so that in hopes that they would actually have good
Right.
luck.
Well, there's a lot of backstage mysticism and mythology and scarcity around secrets and bad luck. Like you can't say the M word in a theater, like Macbeth, right? Because
Oh, okay.
it'll bring bad luck. And a lot of those superstitious people in showbiz, if you say the M word, they make you literally go outside, turn around 3 times, and ask to come back in.
I have not heard that one. That's
Oh,
interesting.
that's more of a stage theater, like actors superstition. But break a leg, like when you're looking at the stage from the audience point of view, the curtains on the stage right and stage left, and usually there's 3 or 4 of them that create so you can't see backstage. Those are called
Right.
legs. Those are called
Oh, okay.
right. And so break a leg means enjoy your stage fright. Instead of being afraid, embrace that alive energy. And break a leg means make your entrance. It means walk on stage with command. It means take an entrance, step into the light, is what that means.
Oh, I love that. I had not ever heard the actual history of it, so thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah. So in this, because you're talking about it too, it's like, okay, fear can be crippling, but can also, when you realize that you're not in immediate danger, like, okay, there's not a saber-toothed tiger eating your belly right now, you know,
Right.
but you're afraid, that means that we're awake. And when all of a sudden
Hmm.
you engage with fear in your system and you're not in danger, that means you see very clearly, you hear ridiculous things, you can smell everything in the room, you taste everything, and your skin is on fire with awareness. Because that if
Right.
because if you were in immediate danger, you're going to need all five of your senses to climb the tree you've never climbed, to jump the river you've never jumped, to save your life. And so the overwhelm that comes with being afraid is because we're downloading a shit ton of information quickly.
Right.
But so I like this cognitive switch to say, okay, wait a minute, am I in danger? No. Am I downloading a ton of information quickly? Yeah. How cool is that? And I've said before many times, like, some people will pay lots of money to go jump out of an airplane to have the exact same feeling, to get that
Right.
that rush of information, to enter flow state for a short moment. Because what is flow state?
Hmm.
In touch with all of your senses in the present moment. And that's why a few minutes ago, it's like, well, what if fear was actually your number one knight in shining armor in service to you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we can do it awake and say, okay, well, I'm not in danger and I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited about. And I love the acronym. We've heard it a million times, FEAR, false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's that first check. Am I in danger right now? No. Am I excited? Yeah. Okay, now what? Now that we're clear, your mental mind, your ego can then go, okay, that's what we're doing. Oh, cool. Well, I'm going to put my seatbelt on and say yes, knowing that I will process one thing at a time later. But I'm going to say yes to the overwhelm, the information dump, this massive download of information right here, right now that I will use right here, right now. How
Yeah.
cool is it to think about it like that?
Oh, it's so cool. I have so many students walk out of that part of my program where we learn to capture, I call it capturing fear and turning it, flipping it to excitement,
Yeah.
and how to do that on a daily basis with whatever you're facing, not just piano, but just allowing that exhilaration and that rush to move you
Right.
forward.
That's that switchcraft moment. That's one of the words I use in my coaching practice all the time, in my therapy sessions, in hypnosis. Switchcraft. That's the moment that we stop reacting to the world and we create in the world, because you can either react or create. You cannot do both at the same time.
Right. Oh, I love that term.
Yeah. So we're going to work
It's a
some
great
switchcraft,
term.
have a switchcraft moment. And another way to say that is, when we're reacting, we're usually giving our power away.
Oh, absolutely.
When we're creating, we are claiming our power.
Yep. 100%.
Right. So there's that, where in your world today can you catch yourself giving your power away to beliefs, to family relationships that might have been handed down for generations that you didn't even choose?
Right.
My gosh, this is my dad's side of the family. They all do this, and I've never questioned why, and I do it too. And then we'll go, oh, wait a second. I have an opportunity to change that. That's actually not mine. And that's been a difficult thing for me, because pain knocked on my door asking me to change it. Ah, I'm glad I got out the wine and cheese, because now I got the gift of why they came in the first place. And not only did I heal, I get to heal like my dad and my grandpa, the ancestral line spiritually. We can heal at that level too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you know this about me, Lorraine. One of my passions is cultural anthropology, folklore, and indigenous rituals. because I love to study how humans are more alike than we're different throughout all time.
Yeah, I think we did chat about that just a tiny bit. It
Yeah,
sounds so interesting.
right. And so as I study shamanism and spiritual healing and healing of all kinds, like one of the things I've loved in some of the myths and the stories from different continents and different countries and tribes from around the world, there's usually a story somewhere that says the same thing about how our ancestors who have already passed, who've died, are on the other side supporting us now in this life, asking, are you the one? Will you finally be the one that heals us all? There's something really cool to me about thinking about my ancestors supporting me here now. You know, especially because like in my mom's side of the family, I didn't know any of those people. And I certainly didn't know
Mm,
them on my dad's side of the family. So they're kind of mythological already. Like
right.
I don't have like memories of real people and names. I don't even know their names. You know,
Oh, wow.
I was talking to my dad yesterday about this. I said, Dad, there's so much of your family I don't even know. And he said, me too. Because we just don't know. But a lot of the training I'm doing now as a coach, to be able to take my clients to a deeper level, like I'm always learning. I'm always taking another class. I'm getting certified again because I love the idea that I can only take a client as far as I've gone. A client
Right.
only have the
Absolutely.
success that I believe I can give them. So I'm always like, okay, how deep can we go? What's the next thing we can do as we evolve and expand as people? How can we support each other in our journeys? And this is what you and I have, a couple conversations that we've had getting ready for today is like, there's an energy here about I was in my story and a challenge was sent my way. I overcame that challenge in such a way that I rose up out of my challenge and I put my hand out to help whoever's following behind me. Because if I can do it, they can do it too. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you know Lisa Nichols, who she is?
I don't believe so.
Lisa Nichols, oh, she's a motivational speaker. I mean, look her up on YouTube. She's got some classes and courses that she teaches. She guests on Mind Valley stuff all the time. She is this beautiful Black woman who has a story of poverty with a little kid, penniless, and she hit her threshold moment and started saying yes and started manifesting. And now she is an incredible example for all of us to follow. And one of her stories that she tells over and over again, it's almost a quote, is that we climb out of our story and we stand on top of our story and we put our hand out for the next one who's ready.
I have heard that or something similar to it somewhere, and I really love that idea. So I will definitely have to go look her up.
Everybody, if you don't know Lisa Nichols, put her on your to-do list. She's got YouTube.
Absolutely.
Follow her. She's amazing. Really amazing
Yeah.
light of our universe. She's a guide and a hero for many. Yeah, Lisa Nichols. I hope she's one of the people someday I hope to sit down and have dinner with and talk to, because she's definitely been with me on my path my whole life, or not my whole life, but a long time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, as we begin to wrap up our time together today, Lorraine, once again, just a little shout out to those people who might be listening to us. And if you're stuck in your fear or you're having pain in your world and it's slowing you down, if maybe even crippling you and you're stopped, like we've been there, and I think that's part of our shared human experience about why do we have pain? Why do we have fear? Why is it even here? Why does it happen at all? Why are fear and pain tools in our toolkit? Wait, what? Fear and pain are tools in my toolkit? What? You know, this is why I like to say we can't ever get rid of fear and pain, but we can sharpen the tool. We can oil the tool. We can clean the tool and put the tool back in the toolbox when we realize that we've been turning a screw with a hammer. you know,
Yes.
because fear is part of love. Pain is part of love. And if you weren't loving gigantically, you would not be hurting or fearful at all. You would have forgotten about it by now.
Very true.
So I want to call in the fact that if you're hurting right now, that means you're loving gigantically. Fear, I think fear and pain is a fierce measure of your ability to love gigantically. Because if you weren't loving and you weren't hurting, you would have forgotten about it. Your focus would be elsewhere. So suffering turns to satisfaction, woundedness turns to wisdom. And I think really the shortest road to do that is to embrace those things. Don't run from those things. Welcome them, set a place at the table for them. Ask them why they have come. And that's why I'm hosting this podcast, to say, okay, let's have a conversation that matters. And let's talk about the emotional impact of what it feels like when you're crippled by fears to the point where you can't see beyond, you can't feel, it's overwhelming. You've forgotten everything else that's possible in the world until you take a breath. And then you take 2 breaths, then you take 5 breaths, and you start to ground and maybe listen to a podcast or reach out to somebody and maybe actually have the courage to ask for some help or to do something different, to break a pattern and maybe install a new one. But that invitation, pain and suffering, fear, it's an invitation to slow down enough to learn, to search, to discover, to finally be inspired by a new path, to take out the trash that no longer serves us. Sometimes that's hard because some of the trash that no longer serves us, we're sentimental about. Oh, how could I possibly get rid of that jacket that's now too heavy? But it's in the way of our expansion. Sometimes our sentimentality keeps us from growing because we can't let go of the things that we cared about. What do you think? Last thoughts as we start to wrap up our circle.
Oh, I think you're spot on. I was enjoying just listening to you talk about that just now and thinking alongside you. So I have to echo that I am grateful for the pain I've experienced, because I wouldn't be the person that I
Yes.
am today.
Yes.
And I wouldn't be in the place that I am today. And it isn't something that I wish on anyone, but also we cannot grow without it. So,
And we all do it.
right. So
Not a matter
I
of if,
guess
it's a matter of when.
I feel empathy for those going through pain, but in my way, the solutions that I have, I want to offer so that people don't have to stay stuck there.
Properly supported.
Exactly.
Sounds like a merch. We need some shirts. Properly supported.
Oh, I love it. I like that. It needs to go on a coffee cup.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lorraine, I have so appreciated spending a little time with me. I appreciate your request to come spend some time with me. Thank you for that.
Thank you for bringing me in. It has been a pleasure.
Anybody out there who might be interested in some piano lessons or some pain relief regarding your hands and posture and piano, all of your connections will be in the show notes below. But also those of you, if you're listening, tell people how they can find you.
Well, I'm on Facebook. You can just type Painless Piano in the Facebook search bar and it will come up for you. I have some short little mini lesson videos that will come up. I also have a Facebook group that you can jump into for free and get a little bit deeper of mini lesson videos. I have a free workshop coming up in just a couple of weeks. I'm not sure when you're putting this out on YouTube, but somewhere around the middle to end, well, we're already in the middle of November, so around the beginning of December, I'll be hosting my live workshop for Painless Piano, and we will be going through all of the beginning steps to creating your properly supported foundation for playing
Ah,
without pain.
awesome. Well, with that in mind, I'll make sure that we get this video posted right away so that we can use it for you for sure. And
Oh,
send some
thank you
practice
so
your way.
much.
Absolutely. We can absolutely do that. Well, thank you, Lorraine, for being with me. Everybody out there in the world listening to us and finding us here on Fear to Freedom, one story at a time. Once again, if you've got a story to tell, I want to know. If you think that your story can be meaningful to someone else out there in the world, please let me know and we can jump on a quick call and see how we can work together. Because I really believe that we are more alike than we could ever be different. And we need each other for those reasons. That's why I'm here doing this. And also, the work that I'm doing right now, as a coach, as a guide, as a therapist with lots of cool tools in my box. One of the things that I love about the human breakthrough journey, about helping each other expand into our very best parts of ourselves. I think that journey starts in the cognitive mind and our thinking and our awareness of our suffering and our difficulty. And we can do some there immediately to remove the pain or the effects of a symptom that's painful now, and that will loosen the grip of what's really going on. And then we can start thinking about the biochemical energy in your body, the energy residuals of that suffering that's are in your body that shows up as pain, tension, energy that is trapped. And then those things, if go for too long, stay into disease. Now, these things turn into like hypnotherapy, past life regression, tapping, EMDR, Chinese medicine meridians to actually move that energy out of your body. Then when we do the cognitive piece and the biochemical piece, now we're dealing with the root causes of why you were hurting in the first place. Then the next step is the spiritual piece about who you really are, choosing to live a life that you love, preventing some of these things from ever happening again, and designing the life that you want to be for the rest of your life so the rest of your life can be the best of your life. And now that's the journey that I take people on in my practice. And I love what I do here. And I can't tell you how wonderful it is for me to actually see people change the course of their lives. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and in so doing, I serve myself in my own healing and in my own journey. All right, everybody out there, if you are resonating with Lorraine and what she does, you can find her in the show notes. If you like what I'm saying and like to contact me, you'll find some of my information in the show notes as well. Lorraine, thank you for being here with me today. Thanks for telling us your
My pleasure and privilege. Thank you.
stories. Yeah, totally. And maybe we can do it again sometime, because I also know that you're a mom and you do all kinds of other cool stuff too that we didn't even get to. So maybe there's another time that we can talk again.
Absolutely, would love to.
All right, everybody out there, I'm Cory Thorell, and this has been Fear to Freedom, one story at a time. If you like what's happening here, give us a little thumbs up, subscribe, and help the automation of YouTube help other people find us. I really appreciate your support. Reach out, say hello, and let us know you're there. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Cory Thorell, and until next time, this is Fear to Freedom, one story at a time. Be well.